everybody. You thought you weren't going to see me today, but surprise! It's 8 p.m. my time, and we're back. We're back. Oops. Oh, is that me? I have to mute my channel. Oh my gosh, the perils of live broadcasting. But instead of just getting me today, you also get this guy. You get the champ. The champ is here. I should have had an audio file for that. The champ is here. The champ is here.
I love the title. Live final review with Frosty, the PLO8 champ. I just saw that. That's great.
Hi, Fadyan. Fadyan is coming to us from the UK. So it is what? 8 plus 8, 16, 4 a.m. with Fadyan. Fadyan, you're so devoted. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, so long story short, everybody from Team Talon, of course, knows that I love playing the mixed games and Pot Limit Omaha High-Low Split and 8-game and all the rest, and was really jazzed about the PLO8 MicroMillions tournament, which did not end overly well for me. But fortunately, somebody from the team picked up my slack and got the gold trophy. You know,
I have no idea how. I still have no idea how.
So we thought we would take this opportunity to go over the final table and talk about hands, talk about decisions, talk about how he figures out how many chips he has, but when it just counts big blinds. I always confuse.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize. It didn't occur to me. So we recorded this final table replay. You guys can see the replay in the client. But I decided to record it so we could just stop it and talk about different spots. Otherwise, things go really, really fast. It was a pretty fast final table to begin with. It was only like 45 minutes. So yeah, I forgot that I must have had like Stars Helper open, which is the program I used to do that. And it converted the big blinds even on the replay, or it converted the stack sizes to big blinds even on the replay, it looks like. I actually like this. I think it makes it a lot easier, but...
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I like big numbers. Numbers like 54 and 39.5. I mean, they seem great, but
So it was funny, like, so Talonchick was like watching me play. Like when you were watching a little bit, first of all, we were kind of sweating each other because we're both trying to win the last man standing thing, right? And then there was a few hundred people left, and now it's getting deep. So she was watching me to see how I was going to finish. And you kept on saying in the chat, like, go for 2 million, go for 5 million chips. And I'm just like sitting there thinking like, I have no idea how many chips I have. Like all I see is like my stack and big blinds. Like that sounds good though. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, definitely. Well, at first, of course, as Team Talon knows, I was anti-sweating you. I was definitely cheering a little bit against you and hoping you were gonna find a bubble somehow, just so that you know, Team Talon knows well enough about the last longer that we have going with Team Pro Online. And right now, hotly in contention is you, Kevin Martin, and myself. And we all cashed today for, is it the 5th day in a row?
Day 5. It feels like day 20.
It does feel like day 20, especially when I have to cash in the last tournament of the day. Gosh, 2 days ago I folded aces pre-flop, but for anybody who doesn't know, basically there's an internal competition for Team Pro Online, and whoever has the most consecutive cashes during the MicroMillions, most consecutive days cash, gets $500 to spend on their stream or in their home games, or you know, throw a pizza party. I don't know, what would you do with $500?
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just putting in a real quick tweet.
That's
here.
good. Okay, that's good. I'll keep talking. For some reason, the chat.
500 bones.
Yeah.
I'll probably just put it in the bank, to be honest.
No, it's not for you, Frosty. See, that's why people sweat against you. What would you do for your subs, your team, your followers? Nah.
Oh, actually, I haven't actually thought about that either. I thought about it a little bit, but I don't have any amazing ideas yet. I'm just trying to focus on winning it first. I mean, we're only 5 days in. It's me, you, like you said, right? Me, you, Kevin, but then Lex is also in contention. He's only like 1 day behind us, so if we don't cash, Lex could still pass us, right?
It's scary because I get one mixed game event a day. You guys get like 4 Hold'em events a day, and
Yeah, but I haven't been cashing in the Hold'em events. Like the only games I seem to cash in are these mixed games. I mean, that's not entirely true. I think I'm like 2 days I've had to rely on the mixed games. and 3 days I've been Hold'em. But like you said, there's like 5 out of 6 events are Hold'em events, and that's supposed to be my better game. So it's not going great.
But I mean, be fair. You're not totally out of touch with mixed games and 8 game, and you've won some other trophies and some other non No Limit Hold'em events, haven't you?
Yeah, I won one. The Team Online mixed games one table sit and go. And I'll never let you forget.
I just threw you like a lob so you
I
could
know. And I slammed it down. That was good.
hit it out of the park. One of my first PCAs, I think maybe it must have been 2012 or 2013. We sat down and we were having a good time drinking, and we got a dealer to come deal a mixed game, an 8 game rotation. Sit and go satellite, just kind of with bragging rights and a little bit of money on the line, I think, but mostly bragging rights on the line. And Frosty took it down, and much to my chagrin, anybody on Team Talon who's been playing some stud high low, Frosty, I still like it. It's blazed in my memory how you check back a wheel.
I don't even remember that. I do remember there was a last longer, and I wasn't even in it.
That's right.
I took the nitty approach and didn't even pony up any money, and I mean I guess that's why I won. I had no pressure. I ran well.
Yeah. So I mean, Frosty might say he doesn't know how to play mixed games, but I might take the under on that. So everybody, we're gonna go through the hands of the final table. It's pot limit Omaha high-low split, and if you have any questions, we're live. There's like a built-in 20-second delay, so we're seeing your comments pretty quickly. So if you have any questions for the champ, definitely fire them at him. The harder, the better.
Did you just call me the champ?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, I got to give props where props are due. It's a little bit reluctant, but hey.
I mean, that's the thing about tournaments. Everybody has their day. I did a vlog about this earlier today.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm probably going to repeat myself a bunch of the time, but I mean, that's the thing about tournaments, right? I mean, you have to run really, really well to win them. I have some questions for you before we start, because I mean, this is how little I know about this game. Like, I'm not even lying when I ask this, but like, I mean, like, the number of times I like didn't know if I had a low or didn't know what my high was. Like, I was sitting there counting on my fingers trying to figure out like deuce, 3, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, I think that's a low. But like straights, they don't count against lows. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, you bet.
Like not just wheels. Like any low straights.
Any low straights. Yeah.
All right.
Your
so like,
high
I mean,
hat.
I honestly like thought that, but I went this entire tournament and won this tournament without actually knowing.
So one of the first rules for high-low split, I mean, I'm sure you defeated, I don't know, what, 11.6 thousand players? How many players were in the tournament? I looked earlier. I think it was like 11,500.
There was almost 12,000. It was like 11. It was like almost 11,700 players. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, Fadyan's got you. He's counting upwards.
He's counting upwards. I see
count,
that.
So when you're counting your low, you start at the top and work down. And your low cards are pieces of paper. They're just their numerical value. Flushes don't matter. Straights don't matter. They're just like a rundown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the lowest rundown possible, and then 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. But it is important, especially during the close situations, that you count from the top down. But anyway, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you that one.
All right. Shout out to C. Frangio in the chat. What's going on, man? He's our most loyal Twitch follower.
There we go.
He showed up. I think he's at least a couple hours ahead of us too, so he's staying up for this one. What's going on, C. Frange?
Welcome. Yeah, the snowman out in chat. I think I unsubbed to you after you didn't make my scoop calendar for me.
No, that's okay. I'm taking a bit of a break from scooping, actually, and I told people not to resub until I'm back. So I was like, see the snowman though, man. They look good in chat.
The snowmen do look good. But yeah, so you enter a tournament with almost 12,000 players. What's your hope?
Okay, so I mean, basically, like we were saying, right? We're both trying to do the last man standing thing. If you guys don't know what this is all about, it's kind of like a survivor pool where you have to cash in at least one MicroMillions event per day to be in the running. There's like $1,000 prize at the end of it. There's also a team online internal contest that we're definitely battling it out for. So this was like the fifth tournament of the day, and I hadn't cashed in anything yet, so I was definitely going to play it. And I mean, obviously, I didn't expect very much out of this tournament. I was just hoping I could luck my way into a cash. And then I also, like, there was a lot of, like, dynamics going on with this tournament. I had a friend in town, like, from London, and we were supposed to hang out and have drinks and dinner that night. Luckily, I spent last weekend with him, so it wasn't like I totally blew him off for this tournament. But in my mind, I was just hoping to sign up for this tournament, hope to cash it so I didn't have to play the last tournament after that, which was like the 4.4 Hold'em, which I think saved you.
I'm sure, yeah, it did. I folded aces on the bubble. I folded aces under the gun on the bubble to
That's
cash.
that's so against the spirit of the bet. It's ridiculous.
So
I don't blame you though. I would have done the same thing.
11.8 thousand people, and did you re-enter?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I definitely just played the tournament hoping to cash. I didn't even know it was a re-entry, and I busted really close to the end of late registration, and I thought I was done. I was like, all right, I'm out. Hopefully I can cash in the next one. And then the pop-up came and was like, do you want to re-enter? I was like, yes, $2, let's do it. And I re-entered, and you got a little screwed over by the re-entry, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I cut it too close. I took a really aggressive bluffing line, and I tried to bluff into a player who had the nuts, and I busted, of course, and it popped up and it said, "Do you want to re-enter?" I clicked yes immediately because I knew it was getting close, and it was like,
Yeah.
"Bah, re-entry is
Yeah.
closed," and I was just devastated. But I guess
That definitely sucks.
you know.
Go ahead.
I mean, maybe you should consider sharing your prize with me because there's a butterfly effect.
um, we'll see. We'll see how the last man standing goes.
Let's see. So maybe
But anyways,
we
I
should
was
probably.
I was in the same boat. The thing about the re-entry, especially when like we're both like really just trying to cash in the event, is like I was definitely, especially for a $2 tournament, right? I was definitely willing to gamble it up. So I kept on looking to see when late registration closed, and I really just wanted to kind of go all in if it made sense with any two cards really, and then just like re-enter if I had to. But yeah, I was nervous about doing exactly what happened to you, just because like when it gets down there, you don't know how long the hand's gonna take. You don't know how long it's gonna take to pop up, and I ended up I had more chips than the re-entry would have gave me anyways, so it made sense to just re-enter once, and then I was just hoping to cash. I mean, I basically didn't even know it was a re-entry, hit the re-entry, and then my expectations were simply just to cash and have a good night.
So what happens when you hit the final table and you get the host from PokerStars saying, "Congratulations, you're the last 6 out of 12,000."
I mean, it felt good. The whole tournament, I mean, it was like 11 hours, and so it started around noon Pacific time, and I was up at like 3:30 playing the stupid MicroMillions tournament the night before, so I was on like really little sleep to begin with. So the whole tournament, I was in this weird phase. I was just like, I mean, I was like just super tired, but then I had all this adrenaline going, and I mean, just the thought of getting through so many people, it really just like didn't even seem like it was going to be possible. So as we got deeper in the tournament, I mean, I honestly, it sounds so cliche, but like you just like, this is why I love having my stacks in big blinds. You just focus on your current stack size, you just focus on your current table, and you just kind of let the tournament take care of itself. So, I mean, that was basically what I did. And I mentioned this in my vlog. Okay, this was the most tilting thing that happened the entire tournament. I don't know if you're watching at this point. You might have. But there was a player on my right, and every single hand, he would time bank all the way down. Like, he wouldn't activate his time bank, but you know, there's like a 10-second play or whatever it is. And every single time. And it was, what I assumed to balance his timing tells, which is absolutely absurd in a $2 tournament. And if you're going to do that, I mean, can you just not make it like a 4-second delay every time, you know? So this was so tilting. Like, it would be like raise, 3-bet shove, and this guy would tank. He'd be under the gun, tank, fold. And then the funniest part though was when he got a hand and there was like a flop that he liked, he could not get his money in fast enough. He would just like shove. So it's like, what are you're doing all this work to balance your timing, and then you just go nuts when you see a flop that you're willing to go in with, just because like he couldn't sweat the results, right? Like he didn't think he was gonna get a fold or whatever, so he's all in. So that went on for so long. I took out my phone and I started playing Pokemon. I was playing Pokemon Go, just waiting to see if any Pokemon would show up, because that was more exciting than watching this guy tank fold every hand. So anyways, I was really happy when he busted. He didn't make the final table. So, anyways.
That's amazing.
And then when I made the final table, I mean, you know as well as I do, like we've hosted so many tournaments, and it's just so annoying to always be the host and always congratulate people on winning absurd amounts of money. There wasn't a ton of money at the final table, but there is some. So to see the host congratulate me, like to be on the other end of that, was a nice change of pace.
That's cool. I mean, spoiler alert, but you turned $4 into like 2,400, 2,500. Seems pretty solid.
Yeah, there was a funny article, or not funny article, but it was an article by the PokerStars blog that mentioned it was cool. It had like all the winners and it had like their ROIs and percentages, and I think that I mean, it's pretty easy to do the math, but it was like 100,000% ROI or something ridiculous.
There you go. So we should get started. So the final table was DNK 32, Brazil Ninja, yourself 2, Nude 3, Lusick 43, and somebody who the stream is quite familiar with, the TJs up at the top there. So the TJs is the only name. Brazil Ninja I might know as well, actually, as a screen name. But as you were getting down to it, I definitely saw some really strong Pot Limit Omaha 8 players that had made their way to the final table. But definitely in this spot, I thought the TJs was going to be a pretty big, big favorite. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Brazil Ninja seemed pretty decent. So yeah, okay. I mean, like, so here's the thing. Like, going into this tournament, I mean, I obviously don't. I know more or less the rules of the game, and that's kind of about it. I have like no experience in this format, but I made a deep run a couple years ago in the same event. Like, I probably only played this format like 5 times, and I made a really deep run. I don't know if it was the MicroMillions or Scoop, but I like final table bubbled. I don't know what it is about this format, but I feel like I can be okay. I can do. What am I trying to say? I can hold my own. Like, there's still a lot of similar concepts between like Hold'em and this game. Like, you want to steal the blinds. You want to put pressure on the other stacks. My strategy involved a lot of raising and not a lot of folding. And as we got deeper in the tournament, I could tell people were playing so timid. Like, I was just playing super loose. Like, you were watching, right? How many hands did you see me open? Like, I was steamrolling the table. I never steamroll tables, and I was just like steamrolling this table. Like, and every time I would take a big hit, I would just chip my way back up.
Yeah.
And then I played lots of pots against the short stacks because it's basically like once I open and like a 10 big blind stack shoves, like it's basically mathematically fine to almost call with anything.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's kind of what I did. So like coming to this table, that's sort of the image I have, I think. And I'm kind of middle of the pack. I'm doing all right here. And I still think a lot of players, at least the guy on my right and this Lusick guy, and I actually thought this TJ guy as well, we're all playing really tight and just folding a lot. So that's kind of where I was at coming into this final table. I was chip leader with 15 left, and now I'm like 3rd or 2nd or whatever. So that was kind of my journey.
Did you have any? What was your 3-betting range?
Not much. Like, I mean, I was playing pretty. I was playing like loose in the sense that I was opening up a ton of hands, and so like as the tournament went on, I got a better sense of like what is going to be a good starting hand. Like, I got pretty excited when I had like an ace and a low card, but in terms of 3-betting, I was waiting for some pretty premium stuff. Like, I don't know, like ace low, 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 like aces. Like, I mean, I couldn't even tell you what like the best starting hands are, but I assume those are up there, obviously.
Yeah, definitely some hands like aces with a wheel card are good. Generally, you want to have a little combination of high and low in your hand. So a hand, like even in these four hands that are face up right now, the TJ's hand is quite nice because it's got the ace and the king. Even though you have the better low showing, like the five and the ace,
Yeah.
having that ace king gives a little bit more equity. But you're so right when you talk about going after the low stacks and that like if somebody would reship 10 big blinds that you would call them. Because the thing is in Omaha high-low split, like even if you get all in with four random cards, you generally have like 35 to 43% equity if you're in trouble. But so hand ranges run, our hand equities all in pre-flop run pretty close. And from what I saw, you definitely gave a few people a sun running, for lack of a better explanation. But let's hit play here, and we'll kind of go through some hands and fly by the seat of our pants. If anybody has any questions for Frosty, fire them away. See, Frangio is giving me a little bit of a hard time, saying that is surprised that I'm even talking to you after you made a deal, but I think the deal you made heads up was excellent. So
I mean, I won't spoil anything. We'll talk about the deal when it gets to that. I mean, there was a deal, but there also there might have been a decline as well in there somewhere.
Did you fold pre-flop?
I believe I did. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I wish we could hover over our cards. I didn't really like. I mean, I don't know. It was only one big blind. I probably should have called.
You had
But it was.
ace 5, 8, 10, I think.
I didn't like the three clubs. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't really make any good highs, and just decided to. I don't know why. I decided to fold my big blind. That probably seems like an easy call for one big blind, but I don't know. It's not the greatest hand, I guess.
All right. So, oh
What do I
gosh.
have? Is it possible? Is it possible to go back?
Yeah, it should be. I'm just trying to. Why is this giving me a hard time? 'Cause that. Where did it go?
That's the
Sorry,
hand.
friends.
That's the hand, but yeah, just go back a little further.
Should I don't know. Technology, right? There we go. Ace 5,
Yeah,
8, 10. Yeah, for
yeah.
for
So I mean, it's not the best hand. My ace isn't suited. I think that's probably the main reason I folded. I definitely started to fall in love with the nut flush potential.
yeah. No, I mean
And like, I'm not gonna go to town with just a decent low, right? Like an ace five, like, I mean, a lot of the times, like when I had like an ace five, like I wasn't even thrilled. If like the ace four, three, or deuce are out there, you're not stoked. But again, for one big blind, would I have made a boat? That would be kind of tilting. I had an ace. It
you
was
had,
ace, eight, five. I don't think I had a boat.
no,
So
no, no,
good
not here. Ace 10, 8, 5. You actually
uh,
would have been in really tough shape. Well, you could have drawn to a low against the TJs. Hands, double paired hands in Omaha high-low split are traditionally quite poor, just because it's really hard to proceed on any flops. I assume Brazil no-Joe just bet folds here, and they do. So we never get to see. But the TJs could have had a big confrontation here.
that's how we do it. That's how we win these tournaments.
But like I agree with not wanting to play out of position and not wanting to
I think I
just
think
be
another thing is like it's very important that there are no antes in this tournament. So you don't really have to defend as much, you like mathematically. So in that'd be a spot where, if there are antes, it would be, probably terrible to fold. But without antes, it's not really that big a deal. If you're gonna have that many reverse implied odds, like I just didn't mind folding.
Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, and spoiler alert, I'm going to say this is the person you end up heads up with, and they didn't strike me as necessarily the strongest Omaha high-low split player. This is a real no-no of a hand to play, even if you have the opportunity to steal, just because there's not a lot of home run flops for you that you can hit without somebody getting a low. So, and if somebody's going to make a low and you really only have a high equity type hand, you only get the chips you put into the pot back because you tend to make a one-way hand. So you always want to make two-way hands.
That is exactly what I figured out as well. Like hands that play pretty well in normal Omaha, like some of like the straight hands, like, yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those hands just don't seem to do well in this game. You just can't, you can just never can make that great of a high, and you're just like never going to make a low, or you're never going to make that great of a low.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Reed. By the way, this guy, he seems like a nice guy. He showed up to my Facebook page, made a couple comments.
Ah, nice.
He set me up on Twitter, so I'm not going to say anything bad. And who am I to judge somebody for over 18? But that was my read, too. It looked like he might have been one of the weaker players.
So for this hand, like with Losek being the short stack, right? Like they can double up and they're still going to be the short stack. They have 7.5 big blinds total, with half a big blind being in. This is the type of hand that I really like to see a 3-bet with, because they can get all in here for sure. And even going into ace 7-8, they're not going to be a big equity dog. So we'll see. I don't know what they do. Yeah, that's what I like that play for sure. The TJs has to fold here, and the nude obviously calls, right?
Yeah. I think the same thing.
It's too bad we were talking about this earlier, that you don't get to see the equity. Wow, and they go bust right away. You don't get to see the equity share. But yeah, do you open this under the gun?
That's really annoying. It's too bad, especially in this game in particular. Like, when I was all in, I wouldn't even look at the board. I wouldn't even look at our hands. I would just look at the equity percentages next to our name and just hope mine was 100 or at least 50 by the end of the run out.
Did you have any difficulty with getting 3-bet? Did you get 3-bet a lot in this tournament?
No, and that was amazing. That was basically why I did my strategy, right? Like, the thing was, like, I mean, I would get 3-bet occasionally, but people weren't 3-betting unless they had the nuts. And people would defend sometimes, but only by calling. And, like, you get to realize your equity that way anyways. So I was opening so much just, like, without much fear. Like, so, like, I had, like, this, ace, 3, 4, 8. I mean, it's okay. But, like, it would just be, like, an automatic open at this table, I think. Even though, like, we're not suited, it's kind of trashy, but we have some low cards.
Yeah, I definitely find in pot limit Omaha that I have a tendency to min raise, just to kind of control a little bit how much you can get 3-bet, because it's really difficult to fold to 3-bets, and so I like start my pot controlling line a little bit earlier. This is an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, okay. So with bet sizing, I mean, yeah, it's always subjective anyways, but I just started the tournament with 2.5x when the blinds were high, basically, and I just kept the strategy throughout. But
Fine.
I wouldn't change it if I did it again, just because, like, people were folding their blinds so much. If I was playing with better players, I would probably make it smaller, because, like, I know exactly what you're saying. But I don't know. I think the extra half of a big blind stole me so many pots. Like,
That's cool.
And when the equities are so close, you don't really want the big blind defending. But again, like with bet sizing, I mean, everybody has their own opinion on it. But I don't know. I think it definitely allowed me to steal the blinds more than if I was just min raising. But you're right. If you're at a table with better players who are going to be 3-betting you more, then it's probably better to go smaller.
What goes through your head here when you face a donk bet?
Yeah, so I actually didn't play with this guy very much. He was at like the other table when we were down to the final 2 tables, and I don't think we really played much before, so I didn't really have any reads. Obviously, this is a pretty fishy play, so I'm just basically trying to figure out what I want to do here in a vacuum, and I have 2 pair, it looks like, with a low potential, and I have the nut flush blocker, which this is actually a pretty interesting hand. I don't know. When somebody donks out like this and we have 2 pair with a low draw, I think we can just raise for value, usually.
Yeah. I mean, they flop an equity monster for sure, but when they donk, I get the same reaction. I'm like, no, I figure that they have kind of a one-way hand, but they have actually quite a strong 2-way hand here. Anyway, I don't know what you do, but we'll see. The raise. And I mean, and definitely they can only just call. You guys are, the 4 of you are pretty low, pretty tight with the 21 to 24 big blinds. A devastating card on the turn.
I thought that basically if he had like ace king, or if he had better than ace 3, at least he would probably go for a check raise. So I actually thought my high was probably pretty good there on the flop, and then I had the 8-4 low as maybe a backup. So I was probably just gonna go with my hand and just say whatever. And then on the turn, like, against a better player, I would definitely probably just go to town there with the blocker. Like, we had the ace of clubs, right? So we can rub the nut flush. But against this guy, I just thought there was no way he was going to fold any flush.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it was just an opponent dependent give up, you might say. And I guess we'll never know, but I feel pretty confident that he was not going to fold that flush.
No, I don't think. In pot limit, it's very difficult for them to fold there for sure. You fold? I assume you. Oh, you call this one.
I feel if we're getting good pot odds, I want to play pots with this guy. We don't have a very good hand. But we have 4 cards. How can we fold?
So why don't you bet?
When he checks back the flop?
Yeah.
I just don't think he's gonna fold enough. I mean, he might. I mean, with this hand, it looks like he probably would have. I don't know. I just like, there's always a fine line, right, between like preserving your stack and going for the bluffs. But yeah, I really just didn't have much going on that hand. I had just like a gut shot. So I would have semi bluffed if I had a little bit more equity, I think. But there was no low chance, and we had a gut shot, and he checked back on a king high board. I mean, usually when people do that, they have some kind of showdown value.
Yeah.
So I just decided to give up.
Take a pot control line. Pot control is always. I mean, in pot limit Omaha, definitely taking a pot control line is going to be okay. I like this hand. Brazil Ninja takes the opportunity to bluff here on the turn, but it says that's a scary bluff for them. I mean, I know they have an open ender and 2 pair, but if they get called by anything, and they're not going to make anybody who's got ace 3 or ace deuce fold. They're not going to make anybody with deuce 3 fold. Hi, Gibson. The cat wants to join the stream.
Got the cat. Yeah, I flopped a pair of 10s there, but it's not a spot that I really want to continue in. Like, it's gonna be hard to call rivers. I don't think I have.
I think your fold. I think your fold is totally right.
Yeah.
When you have a hand that has only high equity, even like the hand you're playing right now, you have a hand that only has high equity. If the board has a low on it, you really have to proceed cautiously. I think that's pretty reasonable for sure.
Okay, sweet.
I'll give you props where it's due. Hey, Queen Bee. I should say hi to everybody who's piling into the chat.
Whoa. Where's everybody coming from?
I want you all to well, I think Kevin Martin just ended his stream, so we should pile in some more people. Marta Dart, AR Sergio, Shredded Lettuce.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in.
This is an interesting spot where the TJs has a straight to the 6 and the nut low. They definitely are going to be betting, and if I'm the TJs here, I bet fairly hefty. When there's 4 spades on the board, you see they make Brazil Ninja fold the 7-8 there. So Brazil Ninja had the nut straight, but with the flush on board, they're just kind of over the hand. And it speaks to the vulnerability of high only hands, or even sometimes low only hands, but high only hands especially.
Yeah, no, definitely a good play. Like, I mean, the only way he gets screwed there is if somebody else has the same low and like a flush, right? And then then he just gets quartered or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, you're right. Like, he sort of has to fold it straight there.
Oh, and this is a spot. I remember this hand too. I watched the beginning of this. I really wish that DNK would have raised here with the top pair and the second nut low draw. Just in a 4-way pot, I think calling can can be a bit vulnerable, and it actually lets the TJs come along. And even though the TJs flops an open ender, if they're facing a bet and a raise, I don't think they can call this flop. Based on how they play, I don't think they call this flop, because if they hit a 5, yes, they're going to make the nut straight, terrific, but it's going to bring a low, and their low being 7-ace is just never going to be good. So maybe they call facing a raise, but I don't know. But when they close the action, it's so easy for them to call, and especially on the turn. On the turn, it's a snap call for sure. But if DNK's line here, spoiler alert, the TJs is going to bet and DNK is going to call with kings and 9s with an ace kicker. And I think it's a fine call. But if they're going to make that call, I would like to see them take a more aggressive line a little bit, because they do have a 2-way hand on the flop.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I've watched this replay. Like, I haven't actually watched the replay in terms of seeing what everybody's had. I've just had it up to record it a couple times, but I haven't actually seen the hand. So yeah, I'm with you. I would raise that flop probably. You don't want to let 4 people into the flins, or 4 people to the turn when you have, like you said, a pretty strong hand on the flop. You might as well just raise there, and the call seems fine. I guess I mean, I don't know. I mean,
The call is fine for sure because like
he blocks, or the low can be bluffing, right?
yeah, the TJs can be bluffing with a missed low, missed flush draw. The TJs can be bluffing with, just completely air. They're on the button and nobody has shown any interest in betting. Oh, this is the best flop. I remember seeing this flop.
Oh, this flop, and I still effed it up.
Why?
Nah. Well, the thing is, I mean, let's let the hand play out first. So yeah, we just check call the flop.
Brazil Ninja checks this back, right? I really like the check back from Brazil Ninja.
That's the thing, and like I think I should have just check raised the flop, to be honest. Like we get a stack if I check raise. Even if he doesn't have a five, like he's probably not going to keep betting the turn, right? Like very often, like on a 10-10-5, if he bets and we call, we have a five ourselves super often. I just don't think he's going to bluff it off or anything. So I thought afterwards maybe I should. There's no way he's going to fold a five on the flop. There's just like no way. So I thought maybe even though our hand is like we have like the board locked up, I actually think in hindsight check raising still would have been better.
Yeah.
Being results oriented, obviously.
That's
but
okay. Results oriented poker is okay sometimes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, check raising the flop or at least leading the turn. When the turn comes a high card and you know there's going to be no low, you're going to definitely see a lot of checkbacks. And you'll see some checkbacks with like aces, somebody who's got ace, ace, XX, king, ace, king, king, X, even some ace, king, queen type hands because they're just going to try to realize whatever high equity they can and they're going to hope to see a free river. Do you bet the river?
I think we have to. I mean, after he checks back the turn, yeah, I mean, I think he can just check back too much if we don't bet. And, I mean, he might think we're bluffy and, like, a missed low draw ourselves. If we just check call the flop with some low cards, he might, even if he has, like, I mean, the thing is, if he has a five, I expect him to call as well.
Definitely.
If he has, like, aces, he might call. And he might check those back. So I think it's pretty much a mandatory bet. And so you see I go pretty big here.
I like the big bet because there's like clubs missed, lows missed. You can be trying to bluff just to pick up the pot here some of the times, or you could have a five. And I mean, they happen to make a full house, but I think they probably call you even if the river is a deuce. Like when they make 3 5s with a queen and there's no flush, no straight on board, I think they're going to call you a lot. So I mean, I like the bets that you pile in there. Yeah, it could have been interesting.
Oh.
Absolutely. The unfortunate thing is you didn't see a raise.
Nice.
Sometimes players will give you a courtesy raise there, which is a bit crazy, but sometimes things happen.
Yeah, I know. He made the boat, right? But I guess he was just afraid that we had... I guess he was afraid if we actually had a hand, like we could just have a bigger boat and wouldn't call if we were bluffing anyways. But yeah, it's too bad we didn't get full value there. But we won the tournament. It's all right.
There's the ultimate results-oriented thinking, right?
Exactly.
You played perfectly. Queen B.
No, we could have actually locked up more money maybe, but
yeah, true. Queen B is wondering if I'm out of the last longer. Why don't you give her the news, Frosty?
Skin of her teeth, she cashed in the last tournament again. 2 times it's gone down to the last tournament. But it's not just Adrian I'm worried about. It's Kevin Martin still in there too, so I would have to play tomorrow either way. But it's a three horse race right now.
We have the Zoom tournament which starts at 2 a.m. our time.
Oh,
so
is that the morning one?
Yep, you bet you. Yeah, it's not.
It's okay. At least it's a turbo. I just don't really like Zoom tournaments, and we're gonna have to register fairly early, right? Like we can't register that one like 2 hours and then just go back out if we don't double.
I don't know if I should tell you this. There's only an hour of late registration, hour 15.
Yeah, no, but like on the turbos, you can't get in there after like 40. You can't even get in there really after about 40, 45 minutes. Like you'll have like 5 big blinds or something like that. Like I like to register pretty late, but I still like to have like at least like 15 to 20 big blinds. So I'll check the structure out and see the absolute latest I can register for it, but I'm probably going to play it. I wouldn't play a rebuy. I wouldn't play a tournament that I'm going to be like forced to register early and then be trapped there at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
But I don't mind playing this one if I'm just going to be able to roll over and open my phone and double up or bust. Maybe this
It'll
Zoom
be
will be
fun.
great actually,
I hope
because we'll
so.
just be able to fast fold.
Fast forward to the money. This is interesting that this alien head player, they obviously like to donk. And that's cool. You don't see a lot of that. So it's a bit interesting for me to see that. Oh man, Queen Bee, you finished in the top 150. Good for you. Queen Bee has some Micro Millions championships
Oh, I
under
know.
her
Yeah,
belt.
she won one a couple years ago, right?
A couple, three, I think. Three?
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, join the club.
This is such an interesting turn card. The TJs, when two new three bets, like they bet one big blind, like they min bet the flop, they min bet the turn. I would expect the TJs to raise here with
I
because
think so.
they have a strong high, right, and they have a relatively strong low, and they have a situation where it's like they don't have the nuts either way, but they have a redraw, they have a good hand, and they it's just hard for this hand to be getting scooped, even though this person does currently have them covered. I don't know. I wonder with like the ICM considerations if maybe they just pot control and call. But I think I would probably maybe put in a little raise.
I'm with you on the race. I think we race this for sure. I think like even if he's got us beat, like I mean, it's kind of unlikely that somebody's gonna like donk and then get raised and then re-raise. Like it's just kind of unlikely, right? So I think like at worst case we're probably just getting called if we raise anyways.
Hmm. This is good. I'm going to use all this information against the TJs later to see what they do. I'm glad. I'm glad to see that they bet the river. I thought, gosh, if they check back, that's pretty nitty.
They had like a five high low, right? Was that what it was? And
Yeah.
then
So the
had like a
five
pair of
four.
aces.
Yeah. So the lows that were beating them were five deuce and four deuce, and
Yeah.
two new three had a five deuce there. So the
So wait, what did they chop it? I didn't even see what happened.
they did chop it.
Oh,
Brazil Ninja folded tight here.
oh yeah. What do you have? I missed that.
Well, there's the end of that hand,
Okay, wait.
right? So
So let me figure this out. Okay, he's got a five deuce low. Okay, so but he has nothing for the high. He has just a pair of
that's
deuces
right.
for the high. I gotcha.
Yeah, you bet.
I gotcha. I got this thing figured out.
There you go. So Brazil Ninja has 6.3 big blinds. I think they fold pretty tight here under the gun.
Let's see what they had.
Ace 3 6 queen.
Oh yeah, I would have gone with that. I mean, these are the hands I just fell in love with this tournament. Basically, ace low card. I mean, we're opening. We're that short. We're just going all in.
I mean, if we ran all five of these hands together, they would definitely have the most equity of these five hands.
Hmm.
Just they have the ace with the queen kicker, which gives a lot of high equity, and then they have a couple cards with low equity. Even though the TJ says ace deuce three, low comes about 60% of the time. So high equity is super important and often overlooked. But anyway, they folded under the gun. A bit of a
Yeah,
surprise.
I know that's weird because it's not like there's anyone shorter than them either, right? Like they're basically the short stack by 2x of the next person. So
Hmm.
there's really no reason to not go with that hand. I'm not really sure what they're waiting for, but I mean, people are making mistakes. That was the good thing about this tournament. There's a lot of people like me who didn't know what they were doing in this game. By the way, who's this in the chat? Is this your number one fan, Talon269?
I don't know. I actually I'm not sure. I've seen them. They're Twitch reg amongst a lot of the Team Pro onliners.
Well, they can be your favorite fan because they're not even subscribed to your channel, but they name themselves after you. It's a pretty big thing.
There we go.
And Queen Bee says I've won a main event ticket in the past with Frosty's last longer on Facebook. I remember that as well. I remember that as well.
Do you remember this hand?
Um, no, but it looks like Nude has a pretty sweet hand.
Yeah,
Actually, they both have a pretty sweet hand.
they both do. I mean, Nude's hand there is super strong. Like that's definitely like one of the strongest starting hands. Being double suited and double suited to your big cards. Like it's a little bit different if you have Ace King of Clubs, Deuce Three of Hearts. But being double suited to your big cards is huge. But I mean, they've run into a monster here, and
Yeah, aces.
yeah, I remember. I see because I play these games. I paid pretty good attention. I was headed to bed for your final table, but they DNK gets done pretty dirty there.
Oh, I remember this hand. But
So we're
might even see a comment from past Frosty in the chat there if you look close enough.
but Brazil Ninja did pretty well here to ladder up, I suppose.
It's
All
right.
right.
I mean, you're right. Yeah, he folded that pretty good hand, and he got rewarded for it. It looks like. And
Yeah.
now, with any luck, Frosty's going to send him to the rail as well, because Frosty likes his double suited high cards. We don't care that it's high low. Although we got the ace five, I guess that's a bit of a low.
This hand is actually plays better than this hand.
Hmm.
And it's just because having that high equity is so important. And Brazil Ninja's hand is beautiful, but it's the type of hand that you don't want to overcommit. Now with five big blinds, you can't overcommit.
Yeah,
So, but this becomes interesting.
we might be going to battle here, guys. We just might be going to battle. Let's see. So throughout this whole tournament, I was also just like, my friends were waiting for me downtown for drinks. Like in these spots, I was just like, I'm not folding. Like I would just go with it. I mean, like, okay, we have a pretty good hand, right? So my thinking here is basically, okay, small blind's really short. He goes all in. Not too worried about him. Big blind probably knows I'm opening super wide on the button. He could be repotting this just to ISO the small blind, right? He doesn't necessarily have to have like aces here or like a super, super premium hand. And we got a double suited, pretty sexy hand ourselves. We got the ace, queen, jack, double suited. We got the ace five for a potential low. Even if we lose and the small blind loses, we still finish in third, not fourth. So you know what? Let's gamble up here. Let's try to get all the chips.
All right. Did you have any thoughts as to what their hand could hold?
Well, of course. I mean, they could have like kings, like they do. They could have aces, but I mean, yeah, like I said, I think they could be doing this like with just like an ace XX hand themselves, and I think we're actually still in like reasonable shape here, even against their hand. I
Yeah.
really wish we could see the equities. Like I think I don't know. I thought we weren't in that bad of shape actually.
I think you're probably about 27% three ways. That's my educated guess, I would say.
Okay,
Um,
that's not terrible three ways. I
no,
mean, it's
no,
not great.
I mean you're looking for at least 33, right? So yeah. It's definitely interesting because you have an ace in your hand. When Brazil Ninja, who has been playing fairly tight, goes all in, you have to expect they have an ace too. So for the TJs to have two aces, it's a situation where it's not impossible, but it's case cards. I definitely tend to throw my stack into them. I do think I probably fold this hand though. But
I mean, you definitely could be right.
it's
Like I said, I knew it would be close. I knew it wouldn't be terrible. I was willing to gamble. I had incentive. I was ready. I had one foot out the door for most of this tournament, and I guess I was just willing to gamble here a little bit, full well knowing we could be in big trouble. But I mean, we can easily win this hand. So I mean, we have a pretty sexy hand. So.
I'd love to know what Team Talon thinks, what the chat thinks. Part of it for me, like a lot of the biggest poker discussions happen in situations where equity edges are so close, right? Where it's not a huge mistake to fold, it's not a huge mistake to call. Like it's kind of it just depends on what your style is, and definitely my style in PLO8 is a little bit. More cautious. I like to play more flops because I think that with my equity, with my edge in the game, that I do better seeing flops and can make decisions better on flops than most players. Whereas if we get all in pre-flop, the equities kind of run themselves out. So I think for somebody who is less experienced, I think getting all in is pretty good in this situation.
Shredded Lettuce says run good works occasionally. That was also my plan, just to run well. RS Cartel put some numbers in the chat. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we trust those numbers or not, but I assume he's talking about if we got heads up with the TJs.
Yeah.
It would
Wow.
basically be 50-50.
Yeah.
I like to see that.
There you go. And I mean, and that's just it. So who's got the 0.85%? This is I should know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't know that.
It's pretty close.
But like
But
this is almost worst case scenario, right? Like for us,
yeah.
like he can have worse hands. He could easily have like like if he had the same hand that Brazil Ninja had, he's gonna make the same play, right?
I think probably not.
No?
Mm-mm.
Isn't that like a pretty big monster to, especially like if I'm opening a lot of buttons.
But like if the
I
TJ
think I
if the TJs has a hand like ace 3 4 5 or something like that, it,
yeah.
it's just the high equity, and I think the TJs is competent enough that they know this. Anybody else at the table might go crazy with ace 3 4 5 for sure, but I think the TJs might take a cooler line.
Okay. I also, well, yeah, I also didn't really have that read on the TJs. I didn't know he was a regular. I actually thought he was playing uh kind of like nitty and like kind of bad, but that was just like just because he was folding like so much pre-flop and just seemed to be folding to like three bets pre-flop and I don't know. So that was I
Yeah.
actually didn't know he was I didn't even know he was that good. If I knew he was like a pretty good player, I might have yeah, I might have I'm still not saying I would have folded this because again, like I mean like I'm not just saying that I had a friend downtown as like an excuse. Like I was ready to go. Like
But I mean,
this
like the equity speaks for itself. You weren't in bad shape.
yeah, so I guess it's all right.
You weren't
Pretty
in
good flop too. I'll take
you
this flop.
that I mean the flop, you smashed the shit out of the flop. But I underestimated your equity three ways. Your equity three ways was 29.28% by RS Cartel. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but what a great flop for you for sure. And the
I know I'm winning. I know I'm winning on this flop, and then on the turn,
the turn.
not so sure anymore. But come on, River,
I mean,
one
it
time.
looks good. The turn looks good, and the Brazil Ninja is done, right? They can hit a deuce, but it has to. Yeah, they can hit two deuces, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what
What do
they've
we?
got going
Are
for them.
are we even ahead? So we're losing to kings. We got a pair of jacks. We got two flush draws, and we got a straight draw.
Yeah, but you don't have
And
you
our
don't
ace would be
you
good. Our ace
well
would be
well you
good.
do have a straight draw in that you can make a royal flush, but you can only make one straight. You can only make a royal flush.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's got
The
the king.
the 10 is a really deceptive card for you there because it looks pretty good because I mean it's the colors are so nice and all the rest,
Exactly.
but it actually is a fairly bad card for you because it takes away the outs you had of hitting a queen, hitting, well, no, you didn't have an out of hitting a queen, an ace,
It gives me the hearts though.
yeah, and the hearts matter.
I don't even remember the river. Oh, the hearts, of course. It's right on time. Look how we segued into that. The backdoor flush.
So there we go.
Oh my gosh, how do I not just run away with this? I have all the chips now.
Yeah, I mean, well, and this becomes really an interesting situation because with you're quite close in chips with two node three node two, and the TJ is pretty short. What I talk about in my stream often is that even when you get really short in pot limit Omaha high low split, you can it's a lot more likely that you'll make a big comeback than it is in Hold'em. Like eight big blinds in PLO8 is a lot bigger than Hold'em.
hmm No, I totally know what you're saying. That was the cool thing about this game that I liked a lot was like when you get some chips, you can put a lot of pressure on people, or at least in this tournament because people were like overfolding like crazy. But then when you're short, I mean, you can be super patient too because there are no antes. And like you said, once you stick all the money in, you have a pretty decent chance at least getting half the pot back.
Hmm.
So yeah, you see me fold there. I mean, I wasn't folding much, but I folded that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's probably a fine fold. And the TJ's gives you typical TJ's needle, stick to cash games, kiddo.
He knows my background. He knew my story. I was impressed.
Yeah, I mean, the TJ's has been around for a while. The TJ's has been around for a while. I like the bigger open here. I mean, definitely think that you can open 3x even.
Shredded Lettuce
Ooh.
says, "What am I chatting?" Yeah, I made a little comment there. I was trying to troll our host Josh. I thought he had a line like pre-written for Brazil once he busted, and he basically like got it out there as soon as he busted. But I wasn't obviously paying that close of attention because it turns out he was actually talking about the previous player that busted. So he was actually just not on the ball. He was just slow.
Kev Zaney says, stick to cash games, kiddo. Classic TJ's. It is. So this is like a really pretty interesting spot. It's a bit of a cooler spot for you.
Yeah, is it? I mean, blind on blind, I think we have to raise pre-flop, and then on this flop, I'm just going with it. I mean, we have a deuce four low, that's going to be good a ton. We have the top pair. He's got a pot size bet lift. There's just nothing to do but put the money in, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just really a cooler spot. And I mean, and you're still ahead. I don't know. I don't remember who wins this hand, but I
You.
definitely go full pot. Oh, you do. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're in good shape, aren't we? He's got a better low than us.
He's got the better low, and
He doesn't have well,
and having the better low is going to render him quite a significant equity favorite now,
that's true.
because there's only 3 outs for you to make a better low, and there's 4, but he's got one of them. So then there's 3 outs to make a better low. But he has some high equity too, right? If he hits a 10 or a 5 to make the straight, you're going to be in desperate trouble, and.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there it
the
is.
both. He hits both of them. Oh my gosh. That's just such a brutal cooler spot for you. It really is.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm not too upset about that one. I don't think there's too much we could do there. Yeah, it sucks. It looked like a pretty good spot before he showed us his hand.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely. There's no way. Like even honestly, even if the TJs has 15 big blinds there, I think the money should go in.
Yeah.
It's just a tough spot. Oh, I like a bet from 2 nude 3 here. In position, putting pressure on the short stack, but they let the TJs bet, and then they
And they just
have
fold
to
the one
fold.
big blind. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. That seems a little bit weak. What am I gonna do here? I feel like I'm gonna like this hand. The 7-10 jack double suited, I couldn't resist, but I like this flop. This is a pretty nice flop. Well, I mean, we got top pair flush. Yeah, top pair flush draw,
Straight draw.
straight draw, of course. Nine.
And you have a low draw, right?
Yeah,
What happens is definitely when you're playing 6 max or 9 max, the quality of your low required to proceed is much different. So heads up or 3-handed play, you don't need to have the nut lows as much. I expect to see him 3-bet shove here, or 3-bet pot anyway with ace 5 6 jack.
Yeah.
I certainly would be.
this hand this hand. I probably shouldn't even be opening this, right? I mean, like, it's pretty terrible, but I mean, like, we're doing, like, okay in terms of highs, but again, a lot of these decisions were just game flow based. Like, sometimes you just get in the flow of things, and then, like, and obviously, like, past reads, like, at the time, I really thought this guy was just, like, playing really, really tight. And in the previous tables, I was raising his blinds a lot. He was just folding. So it was essentially a blind steal with a pretty bad hand that can make some decent highs. And then we get 3-bet, and it's just like, we have 4 cards. How can we fold?
Yeah, I understand. I sometimes will end up limping to pot control, blind versus blind, but we'll see. And
Yeah, so like the reason I just call there and don't pile the money in pre-flop is like basically, I mean, we're probably going with it on most flops, obviously, but I think that's one of the flops we can probably fold. I think we actually had the low draw though. We might have actually made a bad fold even on that board.
yeah, I mean, results oriented wise, the TJs didn't have a flush draw, didn't have that impenetrable of a high, but.
It looked pretty bad for a hand, right? Like usually we're probably just giving him chips there if we call.
I mean, if they happen to roll over ace deuce with any other low card, ace deuce 6 or anything like that, you're definitely in trouble. You flopped the nuts.
That was sweet. Did we? No, he just limped, right? Or did he raise?
Limped. You limped and checked it back. Wow.
Yeah.
They played tight.
I know. What did he have there? I didn't see.
A flush draw and a bad low. They had a 4-8 low, 8-4 low.
Folded a flush draw on that flop.
Queen high flush draw.
Just wow. Okay.
Let's see. I wonder this has to run into some sort of a collision. I don't think the TJs. Whoa.
But yeah, so okay. See what I mean? He was playing tight out of the blinds.
Yeah.
At least sometimes.
Maybe they were just after you.
Oh.
Pocket 9.
I don't know why I'm right. I mean, we're kind of connected. Again, like, it's mainly a game flow / read based play. Like, I'm just opening buttons and cutoffs because these guys, I mean, this is probably actually bad in hindsight because the big blind was just like not folding that much, or like he was playing weird. He wasn't folding too much pre-flop, but then like you saw him just fold a flush draw. So I don't know. But again, I was just going for a blind steal with a fairly connected hand. But I
And
mean, these are the hands we talked about that actually played pretty terrible in this game.
any idea why you didn't c bet the flop? You
Uh, I mean, I don't know. Three ways. Maybe we should have. I guess we have a pair of nines. I was kind of just giving up. Like we just like I just like thought we just don't have enough equity, but maybe we do. Like I mean, yeah, we can probably just bet there and take it down. I mean, I thought there's a decent chance somebody has a jack, and actually somebody does have a jack, so it looks like that worked out. But yeah, my thinking was just like without much backdoor draws, without much good low potential, just to basically check it back and hope to hit a nine, or maybe they check again. And it looks like we would have probably saved ourselves money.
Yeah, you definitely did. I think that like if you open a hand like 9976 though and the flop comes largely with high equity, I think that probably you would be well intentioned to bet.
No, you definitely are probably right.
Where are you going here?
I have no idea what happened here. Did I call pre-flop?
Yeah.
Can you play that back?
Sure.
I missed that.
Let's back it up.
We can speed up after this though. I guess we can also speed up through the deal stuff too, which will save some
Yeah.
time.
This is 9-9.
Yeah, on this flop, I didn't think somebody was gonna fold like ace X as well, like an ace low card.
Yeah.
But I guess we don't really care about that.
No, if they want to draw to running low, they can. That's fine.
Yeah.
This sound is pretty funny. I think. This next one. Sorry, I don't have a. It doesn't seek that well, but.
That's okay. I think does this guy just fold right now anyways?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I call
Okay.
wide blind versus blind for the record. I think playing in position is going to be really important, and you can play well in position.
Yeah, to a min raise, I think we call here. I think folding would probably be a mistake. Yeah, the flop. How much does he min bet? Is that why I call, or does he just bet small?
Probably min bets. He likes his min bet for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should fold to a min bet necessarily. We have a gut shot and we have a backdoor flush draw, right? For one big blind.
All right, I can cut you
For
some
one
slack.
big blind, come on. And then we turn our stupid backdoor flush draw, and I call. Does he bet again on the turn? Yeah, he bets again on the turn. Again, he bets pretty small, and I call. And then I choose not to bluff the river, even though looks like I should have. He had jacks and something.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have a low? I'm actually looking at the replay.
He did have
Oh,
a
he had a
low.
low. Yeah,
He did have a low. I like the aggression versus the TJs. I would be surprised to see a 3-bet here, but I don't know. Because this is like the hand I was saying that they wouldn't do too much with, right? Like these ace deuce 3 type 6 types hands when we were talking back to when they had ace king king 7, just because they've got all low equity. I mean, they crush the flop. Do you get away? Do you get away? You check it, which is I really like that you check it.
I mean, I mean, we have a pretty bad hand here to be opening the small blind. I mean, I don't know why I thought this guy would just like folding super often, but that was why I opened. And then, yeah, we get a little piece on this flop. I check.
And the
I'm
TJs,
probably just folding this turn though.
they're just like, come here, Frosty, come here.
Yeah, no, it's an easy fold on the turn, right? I think check calling flop's fine. We can hit a few cards for a straight.
Yeah,
Maybe we should just check fold flop. I can't remember what it exactly was, but I think we had like an open ender.
this is a tough hand for you to get away from. So they flopped a straight, and you guys have the same low.
And he check raises. I might actually get away from this.
That's pretty strong.
I wasn't folding much, but I think I would have gone to town if I had like ace deuce or ace three. But I think I'm worried that he can have a better low here, and my high is probably not good very much. Nice, good fold pass, Frosty. Man, I was playing. I mean, I don't know if I was playing like amazing or anything, but like my decisions are like working out like really well, given what they actually have.
Good. Do you fold here? Good fold. A lot of
Yeah,
times people will get caught up with hands that have a lot of wheel cards, like 3, 4, 4, 5, but they're so contingent on the flop. The flop is so important. You know, like if the flop comes 10-9-8, they're just gone. Whoa, the 2-3.
Yeah,
I hope they check.
I learned pretty quickly that like you need like the nut lows or you're gonna get yourself into some trouble. Or maybe not like the nut lows, but you want like the ace X. And this was so obvious this guy had aces. He three bet pre-flop. He's never been three betting pre-flop, and then he
So,
bets the fish he size on the flop. Like I'm sitting there knowing he has aces. I'm just hoping the TJ's has a jack, and
yeah.
just like can't get away from.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't mind. Like the small bet, the TJ's definitely gets kind of reverse implied odds to call to go running low. But the huge bet on the turn is just like, oh no, low's coming. I don't want low to get there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he was probably thinking like if he had a jack, he wasn't gonna fold anyways. But some fishy stuff coming on from
Oh, look at this.
203.
Top two for the TJs. Holy moly. You have an open ender with top pair. The TJs has
Yep,
top two, and 2-3 has a set and a flush draw.
this is pretty sick here. And like I'm trying to think back to this hand in the moment. So was it a limp pot or something?
It is a limp pot, yeah.
Yeah, and I checked the big blind, and I checked the flop. I checked the flop planning to continue. I
Hmm.
feel like I might fold here, just because like we're not gonna make that many great highs, and we're not gonna make a great low. So I think we have a gut shot to a six. Does it make us the nuts?
Yeah,
No.
six makes you the nuts, but it
What
has to
about no?
not.
What about 8-10? Wait, 6, 7, 8, eight,
Wait,
10. Oh, I have
wait
eight,
for
10.
it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
This is how I was playing. This is what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, okay. We have the open ender, the 8-10. I might not fold. I actually I probably call this.
I think I like a call here. I actually expect the TJs to shove. I expect the TJs to go broke this hand. I expect the
Yeah,
TJs to
I feel
shove
like I
and
could
then
fill,
then a reshape.
and
I think
then
I think appeal is fine,
yeah.
but you have to be like
As Frosty realized I had the open ender to the nuts.
yeah. And so the TJs almost goes all in, and yeah. So now you easily fold.
Now we have
Yeah.
an easy fold, I think.
There's the
And
flush.
hold.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Heads up, baby. We did it. Final two.
So look at that. 25 big blinds to 91. So they've almost got a 4-1 chip advantage, right? Well,
Yeah,
three and a half.
I thought we came into this battle and I thought I was down like 2-1. I forgot that we were down almost 4-1 like you said.
Mm-hmm. Kev Zaney says 10-7-7 deuce seems like a pretty loose limp from two nude. Yeah, I mean, it's just playing in position and three-handed. Yeah, they have a flush draw. It definitely is. It definitely is a bit of a loose limp. But anyway.
Marta Dart says, "Oh man, love the honesty, Frosty."
There
I
we
mean,
go.
hey man, I was just trying to do my best, try to figure this game out on the fly. This is 11 hours in. I was sharper back then than I am now. I'm still pretty tired. Like, I mean, I haven't had much time to even rest after this tournament. We've just been playing these MicroMillions like around the clock, it seems.
So two nude comes out and immediately says, "Do you want a deal?" Do you? And when as soon as the final table started, they had asked if you wanted to deal as well, and nobody responded. But so heads up now they're asking to deal,
Did
and
they ask at the start? I didn't even see
they
that.
they did.
I saw the discuss the deal, take the box little banner pop up. I'm never gonna deal six-handed, obviously. Like,
No.
it's just, what's the point? Heads up, you know I like my deals. I love my deals. I like locking up that cash and taking some pressure off. But at this point, we're just, I mean, we're so short stacked. Like, I'm barely gonna get more than second place anyways. I'm ready to gamble here. I'm ready. My friend's waiting for me downtown still. Like, the whole time I was playing, I was like texting my buddies, like saying, like telling them exactly what was going on, and I was like, sorry man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like, do you want to do it? Do you want to just call it off? Like, I don't want to keep like being flaky on you guys. Like, oh no, don't worry about that. I'm like, we'll just push it back to 8 o'clock. Oh yeah, we'll push it back to 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30. Like, they kept pushing it back, so like I knew people were still waiting on me too. So I was just ready to start putting some chips in, basically.
So what was your bar tab at the end of the night? You must have picked it up.
No, like we didn't even end up really going out. I just went downtown after the tournament, just met my buddy who was taking off I've lost track of days. I think he might have left yesterday now. But I just talked to him for like 15, 20 minutes. They were sitting out on a patio and it closed down, so they were just waiting for me out front. And we didn't even have a drink. We just talked for a little bit, and it was good. He wasn't angry or anything. Like he wasn't upset about anything. So it was good to at least see him a little bit. But yeah, we didn't. I didn't have any drinks. So what's going on here?
I'm just gonna leave this one here for a minute.
Uh-oh. I mean, we are so connected here. We got the 10, 10, 9, 8. I don't know how we can ever fold this. I mean, we can make straights. We can make full houses. There's a chance there's no low that's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Easy call.
I mean, heads up, what a monster for 2 new 3 to get. I think I think it's fine.
I'm just joking, but I mean, it's obviously not a very good hand in this game, but yeah, like at the end of the day, like I don't know, like it's probably still fine to call, to be honest. Like I do end up calling, but I think it's probably not that bad anyways. Like we're gonna just smash a lot of flops, right? Or like we're gonna get enough flops where we can just kind of go with it. Like we're basically obviously looking for those straight boards or the boards that don't have like obvious low potential, because like we're screwed if there's like a really low flop. I feel like for 5 big blinds here, I mean, it's not ideal, but we can probably call and, get the money in on the flops that we really like and just fold on the absolute worst flops.
Yeah.
But it's pretty ugly. I mean, what's the best play? Just to fold here, probably?
No, I mean, for me, I probably min raise open versus this player. Like
yeah. So again, though, this guy has not been 3-betting. We've seen him 3-bet once, and he had aces, and again, he's 3-betting now, and he has aces. But like,
so I mean,
if we know he has aces, we can probably still call.
Yeah. This is kind of, in No Limit Hold'em, people will talk about like 10 jack suited as a great ace cracker or aces cracker and those types of hands. And I would say more so like 9, 10, 10 jack, like that 8 being lower, it brings some lows with it for it to be an important part of your hand. For it to make like pairs or straights or things like that, it's going to bring a low. But yeah, you call.
Yeah, I mean, this would be an easy call if we had like 8-7 probably, or like 7, 8, 9, 10, where we can at least make a low.
I think we should ask RS Cartel to pull up your equity on this flop.
Oh,
because
this flop. I had a
this flop,
massive erection on this flop.
Yeah, but you're actually in deep shit.
I know, but I didn't know he had the ace deuce of hearts.
And that's the problem, right? So, because now if the bottom end of your straight comes in, like if a 5 comes, they're free rolling you on the flush, and yeah.
And they have a low, right?
So what comes on the turn?
I mean, in our eyes, like we know he probably has aces, right? And
oh yeah,
I mean, if he doesn't have hearts here. Like,
this is as good of a flop as, I mean, outside of flopping the nuts, this is kind of as good as it gets. So I'm not surprised you get it in here.
Yeah, we don't really have a decision, but it's pretty gross, and he's calling for it. He wants the title. He wants it. How do we even win this?
You make a straight. Obviously, you have to make a straight. That's the only way you could win.
How do we chop this though? Does he make a low?
He's got a low on the turn.
Right.
So like your equity on this turn.
Yeah, and there's no way he can lose it, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah. He has no way to get less than 50%. I think his equity is probably like 80 to 85%.
Yeah, it was rough. I remember looking. It was. I think like you said. I think that's a pretty good guess.
There, RS Carcel says you were 27% pre.
Okay.
And boom, there comes the 8, and you make this straight.
Right on time.
I think that has to be a gigantic turning point for the tournament.
TSN turning point. He is not happy. I wouldn't be happy either if I were him.
I feel like after that hand with this player, you probably could have got a 50-50 chop. You could have just said, "Hey man, we can just stop it even."
I mean, maybe. I don't know. The thing is, like, he hasn't like lost a hand to me at this point. He's probably feeling pretty good about things.
I don't think so. Not when they lose that hand. When they lose that hand. Oh, nice hand for you.
He didn't lose it though. I mean, he lost half. I mean, he lost it, but
he lost it.
I don't know.
in terms of high-low split, like that's like getting your aces cracked.
Hey, what did he have there? Did he fold anything good?
He folded a pair of queens. No,
Okay.
like
So we had the better high anyways.
yeah, because
You saw me bet big because I had the nut low, I think. And I had a pretty good, I
yeah.
think I had trip sixes for the high.
Well, we're going back. We're going back in time. Let's see if I. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
so this is a situation where what happens on the flop? Like this is kind of one of those hands where it has some reasonable high equity, but on this flop, you're just they should not put in another penny on this flop because you
Yeah.
can just never be comfortable. I assume you check, and do they check back? They check back. So the turn comes a 5. I would like a lead from you here.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty sure I probably
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
And I'm actually quite surprised to see them call, just because they can be drawing. I mean, similar to you last hand, they're drawing dead. They're drawing dead to win any more than what they put in the pot, because they only have high equity. So they only have the ability. They can make queens full of 5s, and they're only going to win what they put into the pot. You, on the other hand, have
Yeah.
the ability to make a two-way hand, and you do. You hit your 6. But even
Yeah,
if
so the plan is to just bet big on pretty much any river with our nut low and just hope we can get him off. Like, even if that wasn't a 6, right? There's a
yeah,
pretty good chance that he folds his queens anyways. If it's like anything really, like a 10 or whatever, like I mean, he might call, but it's pretty unlikely.
yeah, no, I like the bet. And this is a nice high-low split hand. It's not great because it's only high equity, but there's always
Yeah.
highs. So, they love the dog bet. I don't actually recall that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they were donking like crazy. I basically took a line where I was just going to basically pot control-ish when it made sense and raise when I had like monsters or at least, hands strong enough that I felt the raise. So you see me just call down there with like the flush draw because I have like no low potential.
Yeah. No, and definitely for me, I play a lot of pots heads up. Like, there's not a lot of folding. Certainly 10, 10, 10, 9 on the button is going to be one of those rare occasions where you can find a fold.
Shots fired.
So pocket 7s and the nut low draw. There you go. So what a
Get there.
monster turn card for you, right? It just
We
like
got the open ender. We got the nut low. Yeah, I bet pretty big.
I mean, and I like a big bet there for sure, because you just can't, you make them fold better. High is a good bet. They get
I feel like
aces
I
again.
fold this one. Wow, look at that. And again, he has aces. All he 3-bets is aces.
There you go. I
I'd
think,
probably fold this one too, do a 3x. I wasn't crazy about the 3x. I also thought like he might have a tell where he just raises bigger when he has strong hands, because he was limping a lot too, and he wasn't raising big all the time. I think maybe he was making a 3x, but our hand was pretty bad anyways. And he donks and we call. I mean, if he bets anything more than a donk bet, I'm folding. I probably should fold anyways.
I have
You
to
do
I
have
have
you
to
have
tell
the
you,
flush.
this is a hand where Ryan and I, we were getting ready to go to bed. We were watching you play, and this hand goes check, check, and they scoop, and we're like, what the shit did Frosty have? Because all they have is a pair of 8s, and they have an 8-6-5-3 deuce low. They have literally the worst low. So we know you can have no low, but you also have no high because you can't beat one pair.
I know.
So
Yeah, I know, it sucks.
Right?
I think we need to just fold this flop.
You absolutely need to fold the
I
flop.
think we need to fold this flop.
But we
If he bet anything bigger, I definitely would have folded. I mean, yeah, it was
we
just
can
really
get the
bad.
no-no-nos out in chat for that one.
We either need to fold the flop or we need to make a bluff somewhere. And I did neither.
All right, let's see if you get any action here.
Yeah, so we raised this one out of the big blinds.
Wow, they call.
And I'm really happy they called on this flop. And at this point, yeah, I'm just betting big, because we don't have the low, right?
Right.
We don't have any low potential, so
You have a low draw, right? Like if another low card comes that's not a 5 and doesn't pair the board, you will make a low, because there'll be 4 low cards on, but you'll never make a good low.
and it's full. Yeah, at that point, I mean, I guess we want the call, but it's not a big a deal if they fold.
I don't know if you want the call.
Like,
So flopping nut low draws, flopping nut, like, Did they?
We do just get a lot of good hands here, I think.
Did you even bet there? Did they just fold?
No, I bet.
Okay, I didn't even see the bet. I thought they just open folded.
That would have been tilting, actually.
Yeah. I think you could have open folded that King Jack 4-4.
Oh yeah. Wait, did I raise that? Yeah, it's pretty bad. But again, this guy was, I don't know, he was folding sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely found that you guys were getting a lot of showdowns, which can be good, can be bad. I like the aggression. I definitely think that aggression.
Yeah, I'm being aggressive against this guy. Like, I guess it looks like he wasn't really folding big blinds that much, but he was playing like pretty straightforward post flop.
But there you go. Like, so in this situation, you're free rolling them now. Oh, I hope, do you find a bet on the river? Find a bet. I don't think so. And it's a tough hand to bet.
Yeah, so what happened there? I mean, on the turn, it looks pretty good considering what he has, but like, I mean, there are definitely bigger flushes out there for the highs, and we just had a pair of tens for the highs, and we had a 7 high low, so it's not amazing either. I just took a passive line. And we're running our stack up despite playing like an idiot, but we're getting there.
But the thing is, heads up in pot limit Omaha high-low split, it's tough to play like an idiot. This must be a big double up hand for you. It has to be. So you have a wrap straight, and the best low draw and a flush draw. So yeah, I like the aggression. I do. And with top 2 pair and a low draw, they can't fold. It's just kind of a bit of a cooler spot for him there. What?
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
I honestly didn't even remember that. I thought all the money went in there.
I definitely, top 2 pair.
I don't know how he folds what's obviously like the nut high, and like you said, he had the low draw to go.
He didn't have a good low draw, but he had a low draw. And that's really pertinent. Like, you're going to be check raising with sets there. You're going to be check raising with straight draws. But if you have straight draws and flush draws, they're not necessarily going to make better lows. That's a very disciplined fold. But that was a big pot.
What is this no in chat here? Is this
that's my emote. The no.
When do people get that out in chat? Like, what happened?
Well, when you called with that King Jack 4-4, I told them to bring the no-nos out in chat.
Oh yeah, I know. I heard that. But like,
when I'm streaming, it's when I bluff catch somebody, I give them the old no.
Nice. All right, I like it.
You can't bluff me. It seems to happen a good bit. It's one of my new emotes. We hit a subscriber goal last week, I think, and so we got the Gibson emote, and we got an emote for. So they call here to your raise.
I've had enough of this donk betting. No, you see, this is what I mean. Like, basically, I'm gonna, I was taking a passive line when my hand strength wasn't that good, and then when we turn short 4s there and he donks again, like, I feel like our hand's just gonna be strong enough to raise value.
I was surprised to see a call there when they decided to fold in that other situation. Anyway, a little variable play. C. Frangio says 4 cards. What is this thing? It's awesome, C. Frangio. It's awesome.
It's fun, dude. You don't have to fold very much.
So this is where now 2 new 3 start saying 50-50 deal, please. And I thought no, Frosty, don't do it. I'm like, you can't deal with somebody who says please.
At this point, like, I had all the momentum. I had a lot of incentive to deal because of my friend, and I still, I like the deal.
I was so proud. But then I was laughing. Well, and then this player says, I can use the extra money. And I was like,
he says that, right? Yeah, he says I can use the extra money.
And I mean, that's terrific, right? It's a bit heartless of me, but if somebody says please and I could use the extra money, I'm not incentivized to deal with them. But
as a business decision, it's probably not the optimal play.
But then you said, sorry, man, I think I'd just rather play it out, and I almost had a heart attack. Because I was like, and anybody from Team Talon, whenever I host Frosty, he always seems to be making some sort of final table deal, and I give him the gears a bit. I just think that ooh, cooler stuff.
I really thought I had a huge edge here. Like, I felt like
I think you did.
I felt like it was just so easy to to find good spots against this guy because like he was just basically like only 3-betting aces, and then he was just like doing these donk leads, and then I just kind of had control whether or not I could raise when I had something really strong, or I could just pot control when I didn't, and I just felt like there was like no way I could lose, but things take a turn for the worse pretty quickly. So I'm curious to see what he has in all these spots because I think we lose a bunch of hands in a row.
Yeah.
Like what he has.
Oh wow.
So he just bluffs us there.
He decides to, oh, he showed you.
Oh yeah. So he's pissed that I didn't take the deal, I guess.
It was funny though because I was like Frosty, Tyler, let's make a deal. Frost chooses pot limit Omaha high-low split to not make a deal.
What? That's not my nickname.
I mean, around my house it is. So yeah, they check that back. They check back the turn. I like their check back on the turn for sure. They have 2 pair, just a really vulnerable hand. And yeah, it does take a turn for the worse for you.
Yeah, what did they even have? They had 2 pair?
Yeah.
Yeah. 7 queen. I see. And then I really like pissed this guy off by not taking the deal. Now he's just like out to get me. It looks like now he doesn't have aces and he's 3-betting. I mean, he's got a pretty good hand, and I'm just like, all right, waving the white flag. And then okay, so I say this, and like, I'm half joking, but I'm mostly serious because I know this guy still wants the deal.
Yeah.
And now he's got me down like, what is that? Like almost 2-1, right?
2-1.
60-30. So I throw that out there hoping that he's down to deal. I still feel like I could battle back and win this thing though. Like I'm not really like out of it by any means. Like 1 double up and I basically have him crushed.
Yeah, certainly. But I think so. In the chat, he offers you. He says he'll take 52% and give you 48%, and that's.
And I give him that. I don't fight for the 50-50. I feel like he's got way more chips than me. I'll give him that 2% as a kind gesture, and I'll deal. And it looks like he says he'll take a look. And I believe we deal after this hand. The thing about dealing and like talking about it while you're playing is it really puts out a weird dynamic out there. Like, you don't want to be like, I know I'm on the verge of making this 50-50 deal, so I don't really give a shit about this pot. Like, I'm not going to just start piling in money, even though like we have like a pretty good hand here. There's at least a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not really a situation that we're going to make a deal based on our chips anyways. Like, you see a lot of people go crazy in these spots because they want those extra chips right before the deal because it's just more money in their pocket based on like chip stacks. But I know this is a 50-50 deal anyways, so I'm just like basically happy checking this down and hoping that he doesn't like go back on his word.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he seems to get a little bit hesitant when he looks at the chip stacks again, and I was like, oh no. And I think then he offers you 60-40, which made me laugh. But we'll fast forward. There. See now that he's got it paused.
Yeah,
he says,
maybe I think it goes by pretty fast actually. Maybe let it run. Like, so this is just what I hate. Like, out of principle, I will never, ever agree to this bullshit. Like, if you tell me you want to deal like 50-50, like, that's the deal. Like, we stopped playing because that was the arrangement. Like, now you're not going to swindle more money out of me. It's just never going to happen. So this stuff really pisses me off. And, yeah, I mean, I just basically say what we said that we agreed to. And then, yeah, he says 60-40. And then he says 1 sec. I mean, you can fast forward a little bit. I can't really remember how it all plays out, to be honest.
You go back and forth very, very, very briefly. You hold your own and you say, no, man, like 52-48 is what you said. And because you say, okay, well, we can play it, but I thought you said you needed the money, I believe is something that you say.
Yeah, exactly. So
there
like,
you go.
Yeah.
So then he says, yeah, sure.
Because it's actually pretty important. Like, I did this on purpose, obviously. Like, first of all, I mean, deals are so like kind of complicated. There's to me there's like an ethical line somewhere, but like I also think there's room for like some gamesmanship, and so like I'm not gonna be like a complete dick and be like what are you doing, man? Like, you just told me you have no money. Like, you can lock up $500. Like, why would you gamble this money? Like, are you a degen? Like, I'm never gonna go like that far, but I knew kind of if I was like, hey man, like you said earlier, man, like you wanted to lock up the money. and now we agreed on 50-50. Like now you want to change the deal, and now you just don't want to deal at all. Like, and I was 100% honest when I said like if we don't deal now, like we're not dealing. Like, and I'm trying to race through this as well because again I'm trying to meet my friend. So I basically just tell him I thought you needed the money, but like I respect that all good. I was trying to be nice, and one way or the other, I mean, I just wanted something to resolve quickly, but I figured if I said a couple things, he would likely change his mind. Like, you could tell he was on the fence. And at this point, once we had stopped play and I was like out of the game flow and I was all mentally like checked out, like I just wanted to make the deal happen.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I mean, and I think like it was a good deal for you, and well, it was a good deal for both parties. I definitely think so. And I mean, and then
Yeah.
you just play basically $100 sit and go, $100 PLO8 sit and go. Maybe we should play $100 heads up PLO8 sit and go.
For
I,
$100?
no, I'm
No
joking.
chance.
I'm joking. I'm sure you would crush me.
Yeah. I
Just
think they're on good.
continue the sun running. Um,
Yeah. So I mean, like the reality is he probably does need that money, you know? Like he might not need it. I mean, I don't know what his life situation's like, but I mean, he's playing a $2 tournament. I mean, locking up $500, he only would have got if it was like an even chip chop, he only would have got about like 2,700, I think. So he
yeah.
really didn't give up that much money to lock up what I imagine is probably like one of his biggest scores.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys locked up. They locked up $2,563.26, and you locked up 2,366. So just $200 difference. Seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, the PLO8 enthusiasts out there might want to look away. The D-gens might want to crack a beer and get ready for some action because at this point, I'm all in. I'm just potting pretty much every hand. Like, I need to get downtown. I know equities are pretty close anyways, and let's start the chaos.
I mean, I
This
think
is
I
pretty.
think when you're at a 2-to-1 disadvantage, I think you have to take a deal like that. And Kevin, just so you know, because this is something that I learned a little while ago, is that chip chop when your heads up is the exact same as ICM. So there's no difference. ICM only comes into play when there's more than two people in the deal. But yeah, like I mean, I think you locked up a great deal, and I was a little frustrated. I was a little frustrated because I was like, I can't even troll him because it was a really good deal. So I think you did well. I'm just gonna fast forward. There we go. Get the action there. This is your first hand back again.
Well, when Talon says it's a good deal, then I mean, it was definitely a good deal.
Certainly,
And
and I
then the
mean,
thing is, I still wanted to win. Like, I still really wanted the title, like the technical title and all that comes along with it. But I wasn't prepared to sit here and play it out for basically not very much money at this point, and with my friends waiting on me, it was just, yeah, it was basically just a matter of what I thought was going to be better for my time.
that's I
But
mean.
I really wanted to win. I really wanted to run well. I really wanted to get lucky.
I mean, this hand, I don't know how this runs out, but you have all the equity because they have no way to make, you guys can make the same low, but if you make the same low, that's only going to happen if you hit a 5, and so you'll make 2 pair. They have no way to scoop you here.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Come
And
on,
you,
dealer. Three.
trip threes. Look at that. You
Nice.
just like straight
Nice.
sun run them.
I know. And now I'm like, all right. Now I'm like, wait, should I try to play a little bit better now? I was like, nah. Let's
Nah,
just make a full house.
I'll just flop full houses on the button.
And like, I mean, we could like consider checking here, but like, I know he knows I'm just like going crazy, so I figured I'd just pot it and just hope he got stubborn with
Well,
anything.
anything, yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's not a good play. I mean, we could do much better, but again, I couldn't click the pot button fast enough. You know? I
yeah.
almost considered like folding here, and then I was like, nah.
Is this the final hand?
No, I don't think it is.
No, I mean, yeah.
I don't think somehow.
Oh,
Oh, maybe it is.
oh,
Oh,
no.
oh, okay, okay.
Oh, I remember. I do remember that now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he battles back. I actually feel like I'm gonna win at this point, and then pretty shortly after, I feel like I'll
oh,
lose,
he annihilates this flop. Annihilates this flop.
and I still get it in. There's no way we're winning this one.
Alessio 137 says we want to see a Talon versus Frosty heads up. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe
Little
maybe
little apprentice first Jedi Master.
if it ends up being, well, I don't know. Like when I play poker home games, I am never ever a victor. So
Me too. I always say
it's
that too.
awful. And I feel like playing against you maybe would make me feel like I'm at a home game again.
Oh, that's bad.
In the in
That
the
is
in the
that's
nicest way
low.
possible.
That is low.
In the nicest way
Talonchick, I
possible.
mean, how many MicroMillions titles do I have? How many do you have again?
I have none. I have some W Coop final tables though.
I mean, if you win a MicroMillions, you have to be an amazing player, right?
I
Like,
have
there's just
I
no
have
way.
I have a couple. I have two 8 game W Coop final tables and a scoop final table this year. So I've got some stuff going on.
All right, we're talking about the MicroMillions here.
This is the Frosty special. Well, I am certainly looking forward to the next few days of trying to continue the last longer, or the last man standing, as it's called.
Yeah,
Um,
you're not even eligible. It's called the last man standing.
trying to, hold my own in a man's world.
Nah, honestly, if I don't win it, I hope you win it. If you don't win it, I hope at least Kevin win. I just want somebody to win it that actually started from day one, and not this BS
Sounds
changes that's
good.
happened.
Whoa.
That doesn't look very good for us. Yeah, so at this point, I feel like our luck has probably run out. And
That's what
then
you think.
and then this hand happens.
So they flopped two pair, but this hand actually. So you guys are gonna get all in. What we looked back at this hand a couple times. You're actually an equity favorite here, despite them
Yeah, I'm
having
not
two pair.
surprised. I mean, his six is gonna get beat fairly
You just
often,
can
right?
have you can hit an 8, a 9, a 10, a jack, a king, an ace. Like you have so many cards to hit.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have more than half
So,
the deck to hit, and there's
I didn't
no
even
flush
I didn't
draws.
even have time to look and process what he had. I was just watching my percentages and just hope they went to 100 by the end of it.
Up,
And
up,
we
up,
just
up,
went
up.
runner, runner, full house and shipped the thing.
I was so happy for you. I mean,
And I couldn't resist my stupid comment skill game. Like it was a joke, obviously.
truthfully, at the like I was definitely anti-sweating you early because I didn't want you to cash. But as soon as you did cash,
Fair.
I was hoping for this result. So that's it. Does anybody have any like crushing PLO8 strategy questions for Frosty to just oh, we don't need to watch it again. Does anybody have
No, we don't.
any questions for Frosty? Put him to the test, or what's going on?
I mean, I don't think you want to ask me too many strat questions. Like, I mean, I could do my best, but I think you guys should look at this and give yourself a chance at trying some of these games. Like, remember, like I said, everyone's in the same boat for the most part. I mean, like, it's a $2 tournament. There's 12,000 people. I don't think there's 12,000 PLO8 experts out there. There's a lot of people that don't really know what they're doing as well. And yeah, I just kind of learned on the fly, and it's definitely, you can just sit down and you can feel who's folding too much. You can just play your stack sizes. I will say, like, you see my stacks in big blinds, right? I get that question 1,000 times every time I stream. How do you see your chips in big blinds? I use like a program called Stars Helper. I actually don't really use it when I stream anymore, but anyways, super super helpful. I find when you're in one of these things to just see your stacks in big blinds, because otherwise it's just like a combination of just not being able, you get enough stuff going on, right? Like it's kind of hard to do the math sometimes when the blinds get up there and they get to weird amounts. So you can see everybody's big blinds right away, but also like just like mentally, if you start the tournament and like I won this thing, and I think I had like, actually you were watching Talonchick, like how many millions of chips did I end with? Like 100 or like 50 or 60 million or something?
Gosh, yeah, it was a lot.
It doesn't matter. My point is just like you start the tournament with 5,000 chips. If you think that you need 60 million, it just seems impossible. But if you just focus on your own stack size and just play it accordingly and be like, okay, I have a bigger stack now, I'm going to raise more. I have a smaller stack, I'm going to kind of tighten up a bit. Taking down one of these things isn't impossible. You still have to run insanely well. Like you have to run well, obviously, but yeah, I mean, like I think it's a lot more before this deep run, I wasn't really sure if winning one of these things would ever be possible. Just like I didn't really know how good you need to run, and like you obviously need to run well. You need to run well to win any tournament, but it definitely feels a lot more obtainable than it did, just because there were long stretches that I would just chip up and play small ball and not be at risk. So give it a try, guys. There's still like 10 days in the MicroMillions events, and I actually have some tickets to give away for the odd events. There's like one a day, so I'll be giving away those as well.
The banana
On social media.
the banana games. So make sure you follow
Is that what they're
Frosty
called?
on Twitter. That's what Jay Carver calls them, the banana games. I call them carnival games. But yeah, so follow Frosty on Twitter if he's giving them away, and he's got a Facebook page. You want to plug those links?
Yeah, well, just search Frosty012 on Facebook. I think it's the easiest way to find it. Twitter at Frosty012. C. Frangio asked, will this go towards the stream bankroll? I think so, man. I haven't 100% decided, but I think so. I kind of told myself at the start, like, if I get any big scores in the MicroMillions, we'll just put it towards the bankroll. The only reason I'm hesitant is because it came in a weird game, but I probably will put it towards
It's a
the
great
bankroll.
game.
What else is in the chat?
I was just gonna say that I hope that my hope for this is that I'm gonna put out a YouTube video. It'll get tons of views, and instead of the moneymaker effect in 2016, we're gonna have the Frosty effect, and there will just be PLO8 happening everywhere.
Well,
A legend. You'll be a legend amongst the mixed game community. You are a legend.
yeah, Moneymaker $1 million. I won about $2,500, but well, yeah, we'll see.
But $2,500 American.
It's true. It's a pretty insane ROI.
All right. But I think that that's, unless you have anything else you want to say or plug, I think we will wrap it up. And exclamation mark home game in the chat. For anybody who doesn't usually follow me, I have a home game club, and we run free rolls at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pacific. So 10 a.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern, giving away tickets to all the non-No Limit Hold'em games, and they're absolute free rolls, and they give away 3 to 5 tickets each. So if you want to try to get in for free, exclamation mark home games, and I will accept you. And yeah, come hang out with me some more if you like these games. We play them all the time. We play it with a mix of No Limit Hold'em, and yeah, so twitch.tv/Talonchick is where I hang out, and I'd love to see you back.
Yeah, I guess I should talk about my Twitch just quickly. I mean, you guys can follow me. I think it's Frosty_012. C. Franj asked when I'm gonna be back. Hopefully soon. Yeah, like we play No Limit Hold'em tournaments on my stream. Even though maybe I should switch. I probably have more success. But anyways, I'm taking a bit of a break, trying to run up the bankroll off stream, and then I'm gonna come back once I can play some bigger tournaments, try to grow a bigger audience that way. But yeah, it's Frosty_012. I don't have a timeline for exactly when I'm going to be back, but whatever. Be back soon, within a couple months, hopefully. This MicroMillions is like taking all my time. It's just ridiculous.
All right. And I mean, Frosty might come back, and he's probably going to try to win that $500, but Team Talon all the way. Sorry, C. Frangio. Nightbot is
so
too
many
crazy.
lives you have, Talonchick. You're eventually not going to cash in that one last tournament.
I'm driving out your way tomorrow. I'm going to be playing from my cell phone, so we'll see.
Oh, are you?
My iPad. Our hot spot in it.
I feel like my days are numbered too. I mean, it's not easy to cash, even though there's 6 tournaments. Like, it's not easy to cash in one tournament, even though there's 6 for 15 days in a row.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not mathematically easy. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Take good care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, later, guys.
Bye.